Hi guys, my name is Amani. I don't know why I say my name like that. My name is Amani, and you're watching Along the Pages. This video is my October wrap up. I have read in total this month 7 books. Don't get your hopes up that that's going to be the every month thing, because honestly I don't know how I did it, but I did. I feel like October was just really long, which is great because I love October. The first book that I read this month was A Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. Okay, by the way, this is the first book that I've ever annotated, and I'm official now. Like, I've annotated at least 8 books at this point, so yeah. A Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. I don't really want to tell you guys much about what it's about because I didn't really know much about what it was. I didn't know much about the book when I went into it, and that was kind of good but kind of not good. I read this book a 4 out of 5. You get a 4 out of 5 because when I think to some of the things I have in the book, I really did love, and I did have a lot of moments where I was like, oh, so I guess it deserves a 4 out of 5. But I just was not in love with this book, and that's because the main reason, Percy. This book is about a group of 3 teens, a sister and a brother, and their best friend, and they all kind of grew up together, and they're going on, if you know about Europe, you know that like the royals out there, they go on this tour of the country, and they just kind of learn about history, and they eat, and they learn new things about different cultures within their continent or their country. And this guy Percy is going on his tour with his best friend who he grew up with, and he also has a crush on, and his sister. And this book does have diversity, I will say that, and I really do enjoy that in a book. And it has a really cute, sweet love interest. They just kind of end up going, they were meant to go on this tour, but they end up taking this huge turn and go on this whole entire adventure. And by the end of the book, they're just in like a completely different place that they thought they would be in, and it's really good. And you just see a lot of growth. Percy was annoying, and towards the end of the book, I did start to like him a little bit more, because his character did start to grow a little bit, and he did wing himself out just a little bit out of his selfish and entitlement, but I still just was not a big fan. This book just was not the business for me, but I did like it enough to give it a 4 out of 5 stars, so that's that. So that's that book. Sorry. The second book that I read this month was The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I love this book so much, you guys. Like, you do not understand. You do understand. I've never related to a book so much in my entire life. Never. Just the things that she goes through. This book is, oh, sorry, I gave this book a 5 out of 5, if I didn't say that already. This book is about a black girl. She's a teenager, and she's kind of living a double life, she feels like, because she goes to a majority white school, and she lives in a more poverty community. I think I said that wrong, but whatever. And we just kind of follow her. Well, we don't just kind of, okay. We follow her, and we get to see her in both environments. And in the very beginning of the book, one of her best friends ends up getting shot by a police officer, and he passes away. And we see her go through what it like feels like to lose him, police brutality, and just the fear that a lot of black people live in, all black people live in. And just seeing her feeling like she has to conform to, mold herself into this different character. And yes, it is a part of her, but it's not, she can't really truly be herself, And when she's around her black friend, she's she's an Oreo, or she hangs out with, only white people, And she's around her white friends, she can't even invite them over to her house because her house is in just a not good area. And it's just, we just follow her journey, and I just relate to her so much, because I've gone to schools like that, and I still to this day, when I'm around certain people, I feel like I have to kind of flip on a switch and be not a different person, but just a different, like, another version of myself. I'm not saying that I'm not that other version. I am both versions, but the fact that I even have to do it is just sad. And, you know, we don't really even think about it as much. At least I don't, because it's just what I'm used to at this point. Every character is just vibrant, and it's a great book. Yes, that's this book. I highly recommend this read. Yes, Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neville. I don't know. Good. It's so good. Go into it not knowing much except for what I just told you. I promise you'll like it. It's super fast paced. Like, I finished it really fast. Although I did not physically read it, I listened to the audiobook. Highly suggested. Every character has a different person playing that character, so it's really kind of like listening to a movie, and it's great. So good. I gave this book a 5 out of 5. Sorry, I'm looking down to see what, like, my list. I gave the book a 5 out of 5, and I highly recommend. Super good. Down among the 6 sticks and bones. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. I was not a fan, you guys. I'm not a fan of this book, and it's sad because I feel like an outcast, because I feel like everyone on BookTube is a fan of this book, but I'm just not. The first book in the series is called Every Heart a Doorway, and it just follows these children that find a doorway to an alternate universe, and it's made specifically for them. Each child has a different doorway, and for this book, Down Among the Sticks and Bones, it follows twins and they have the same doorway, and in their dimension, their other world, it's like vampires, and it's like a really dark version of Halloween Town, and they each get split up, and one gets put with a vampire and one gets put with a scientist, and they just kind of, you see them grow into who they really truly should be, because their parents had really wanted them to be completely different from where they end up, like where their character ends up going. So I'm sorry if I triggered anyone who really loved that book, and I'm not giving a good enough explanation to you as to why I don't love it. A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, and I rate this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I loved it, but I wasn't in love, but that's okay, because I'll tell you about the next book. This book follows, I feel like everyone kind of knows, but I'm just going to explain it anyway. It follows 4 different Londons. Well, yeah. In this universe, it's 4 different Londons. They're kind of parallel to each other. One is Grey London, which is they don't have magic, they're just kind of dull. One is White London. They also don't have magic, but they're really like gruesome about it. They're scavengers, and they're trying to get magic, but they just don't have any. I'm explaining this wrong also. One is Black London, which is just kind of destroyed because magic overtook everyone within the land. It just kind of ate them from the inside out, and now it's just black and it's desolated. It's Black London. And then we have Red London, which is flourishing and magical and beautiful. So without all of these Londons, only 2 people and Tarais can travel between the Londons. So it just follows this. This book is kind of hard to explain. It follows this Antarai, and he goes on this big adventure trying to save all the Londons. That's all I'm gonna say. Just read the book, because it's actually really good. But trying to explain books is really hard, and I never realized how hard it was until now. So that's what it's about, okay? It's about this guy who can travel between 4 Londons. He goes on this huge adventure to save the world, to save all the Londons. And it's just really good. And for the 6th book that I read this month, that would be A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. It was wonderful. I love this book so much. We had we had love interest, okay? we had love interest. I love it so much. It was really good, and a lot of people were saying before I read this book on BookTube that it's reminiscent to a Goblet of Fire, Harry Potter Goblet of Fire, because they have some magical games that go on within this book. But to me, it was more reminiscent to the Hunger Games when it came to the games that go on in this book, and that just gave me life in itself. It was so good. And the cliffhanger, sis, let's talk about that cliffhanger. It was like, I have a reaction to it. Actually, if you watched my reading vlog, then you would see it was just completely like, the book just stopped. Like, it literally just stopped. It wasn't like a cliffhanger to like what's gonna happen. No, it's just a cliffhanger. Like, I didn't know it was a cliff right there. Now I'm hanging. Like, it's just great. I love the magic system in this book, and it's wonderful. So that was the 6th book, and for the 7th book that I read this month, that would be A City of Ghosts by V.E. Schwab. Also, wow, 3 books in a month. That's cool by her. So for this book, I rated it a 5 out of 5 stars. Now, I'm being kind of a cheater when it comes to this book because I did not finish the last chapter. I have a scribed subscription, and you guys just should think about it before you guys get it, because the book will not let me, like, the app won't let me finish the book. It's very weird, but I keep on resetting the app and it just keeps stopping in the same place. But for the most part, I listened to the whole entire book except for the last chapter. From what I got, I loved the book. I needed something that was Halloweenish and spooky and still like cartoonish, and I felt like this was like a cartoon, and that's how I pictured it in my head, and it was great. It really reminded me of Halloween Town from Disney Channel, and if you know that movie, then you know. So it was really great. It follows this girl. Her parents are ghost hunters, or not ghost hunters, but like ghost reporters, I guess you could say. But what they don't know was that their daughter can actually see ghosts and step over into the other realm where ghosts roam. And they end up going on this tour of different haunted cities, and so the daughter has to kind of deal with seeing all these ghosts, and I mean, she's used to it, but like being in a place where there's so many. And I really enjoyed that book. I gave it a 5 out of 5, and it was just great. So now that we're done with the wrap up, I feel so much better. I feel like I wasn't breathing that whole entire time. Like, I don't know, wrap-ups are kind of hard, like, to explain the book. Maybe in the next wrap-ups I won't fully try and get the full summary. I don't know how I'm gonna figure that out, but I definitely have to get used to that because that was kind of hard. One moment. Oh, my November TBR is very, very, very short. Oh, also, I didn't tell you guys, but I did start City of Bones by Cassandra Clare in October, and I have only gotten to page 53. I'm enjoying it, but I just ended up putting it down because I ended up picking up Kingdom of Ash. I was like telling myself I'm going to take my time to get to this book, but I don't know, I just picked it up and I was like, I'm only going to read the first page and then I'm going to put it down, and then because I just want to savor this book. But I said I'm only going to read the first page, and now I'm on page 303, so there's that. And I've already like been tapping it up. It is so good. Oh, it's so good. I'm at work super quick. I'm gonna make an outro because my outro got messed up. I'm so sorry, but that is my wrap up, and I'm only gonna be reading Kingdom of Ash during November because I need to study for this test. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'm loving how I have 24 subscribers. 24. I feel official. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm gonna have another video coming to you soon. And I'm sorry for this. This is like, what is up with the quality content? But it is what it is. Okay, see you guys in the next one.